Fuck yeah. Be cool. Everyone, be cool. All right. We're doing a little AEW live watch. And if you don't like AEW wrestling, it's fine too. We can talk about whatever you'd like. So far, the pay-per-view's been pretty good. Not a bad match on the card, but no surprises or anything. So not boring, but it needs something. It needs a little oomph. What up, Zoom? I know you don't like wrestling, but we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling. I'm a little behind right now. I'm at the start of the Hangman Page Switchblade Jay White match. But we can 12:15. So come on down, babies. Got some new jokes. What up, Colt C? In the house. Saturday night in the Earlverse. Been a good week for me, so hope you guys have had a good week. How's the sound on the TV? Is it distracting? Let me know and I could turn it down at your leisure. I know I got a set on Thursday night as well in the original. I think it was Steven Seagal in Under Siege 2 said, chance favors the prepared mind. This girl in my yoga class, I was talking to her after, and she said, you have a great voice. And I'll just say this. Have you ever been called in for Family Guy? So, fingers crossed on that one. That would be nice. So who knows? May never happen, to be honest with you. But to be in the Family Guy stratosphere would be lovely, to say the least, if not less. And then, got a couple other, what up, Scott? A couple other potential voiceover gigs. So, Gutfeld calls have been placed. That would be nice. You just never know. But it's nice to have a little bit of hope. What would a gig like Family Guy pay? I know the Jellies paid about $12.50 an episode. So seeing that Family Guy is on Fox, a network TV show, gonna pay more. And it depends on the part. If you're a featured recurring character, you can make some money. Make some money, honey. I don't know if I'll let Seth sexually harass me, but I'll entertain the thought. In this business, who knows? But that would be a nice gig to get, because that would lead to just other gigs. That's how it works in the voiceover world. It's a very tough nut to crack. And I cracked the first nut, but the second nut is, it's then you're in the inner circle. To get in the inner circle of voiceover gigs takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of chance. And the girl came up to me because I was talking to the owner of the yoga studio. and she just came up and said, "My God, you have a great voice." There you go. Only in LA where you could get a fat industry gig at your yoga studio. Slop Quest returned your calls. I don't think I called them, to be honest with you. I don't know if I would be offering it up for Family Guy, but who knows? Uh, yeah, I mean, once you're in, you're in. And like Carl is someone who, what up, Ryan? Carl's someone like no one in this stream has probably ever heard of him, but I bet you he's a millionaire because it's not just the initial gig you get, it's the residuals. And if it's just, I still get residuals from the Jellies. We haven't done an episode in 5 years, and the residuals don't suck. I mean, I can't buy a house on them, but I can imagine on The Simpsons or Family Guy or King of the Hill, you could buy a house with those if you're one of the main cast. So fingers crossed. And we'll see what happens. One gig, it's like that shampoo commercial. You tell two people, they tell two people, and it's like you get one. Sorry, Carrie, not Carl. You're right. Sorry, I'm blind. But she like 700 credits, man. Phil Lamar is another guy who, he has uncountless amounts of voiceover credits. Yeah, I mean, my studio is pretty good, but I can imagine someone like hers is, pretty next level. I mean, I've seen some home voiceover studios that are easily $20,000 to $30,000. It's high-end mixing boards. What up, Drunken Donuts? I mean, my Neumann mic, I've got the T103. That's $1,250, but there's another Neumann mic that's about $7,500. I'm sure she has that one. Yeah, Hank Azaria. I mean, that's a game. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks they're going to get on his level, but like he makes a nice living. He ain't worried where his next meal's coming from, and that's not even including his acting credits. And Yardley Smith, I mean, Mike Judge. Yeah, I mean, very few. I used to love going into my voice-over agency's studio because they had two studios. And you don't have to do anything. You go in there, they have an engineer, he does everything for you. I mean, uh peak sound. But I remember one time when I had to send in a audition. I forget the reason why they couldn't take me, and the sound engineer was like, "Bro, I don't know what you have for gear, but we want to know so we can tell other people to get it." Yeah, I mean, Seth MacFarlane. Well, I mean, when you create the shows, Mike Judge, Seth MacFarlane, I mean, that's big money. But like, if I could get on the next Family Guy or something like that, you're talking big business. Hell, even the guy on NBC that does all the Law and Order things and the news. This is NBC News. I mean, that guy probably makes a pretty good living. I don't know what Daryl Gribble is, and I do not know of Josh Robert Thompson. I mean, my buddy I went to grade school with makes a big living in voiceovers. His name's Fred Tatasciore. Because he's a guy who can do like the movie voice. He can do high end, low end. I mean, he's like a white Phil Lamar. I mean, I've never really watched King of the Hill, so I mean, I was at the original table read because Randy Stone was trying to touch my pee-pee. But we don't talk about that anymore. What up, Kip Smith? We've got two of the three moderators of the Earlverse in the house. What up? Are you ready to rock? Yeah, I don't watch a lot of cartoons. I barely watch the Jellies, to be honest with you. Okay. I mean, I know on the Jellies, Kevin Michael Richardson was on, and he's pretty big in the voiceover world. Obviously Phil Lamar, um, that guy Blake from Workaholics, um, Carl Jones. I mean, I think he created the Boondocks. Earl, just a question. Why do you need 3 moderators when you have 12 people watching? I don't know. Well, they're rarely in here all at the same time, to be honest with you. So I don't need them, to be honest with you, but I just make them moderators, and if they all show up, I mean, some streams I don't have anyone in here, so I hope that answers your question, Drunken Donuts. What a funny dick. I don't know if that's directed at me or Drunken Donuts. Yeah, I get compared to Phil Hartman a lot, actually. Yeah, I mean, Phil Hartman, I mean, if you can imagine the residuals he would have made, I mean, just because he had a voice similar to mine, or I have a voice similar to his. But you date a crazy woman, and what happens. I'm surprised I haven't been killed by an X or two, but I'm still here doing a stream to 14 people now. Drunken Donuts, take that, you bastard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I would have more people in here on a Saturday night, but such is life. Such is life. My favorite 80s movie. I mean, my favorite 80s action movie is Predator. I would say my favorite overall movie would be 52 Pickup. Lethal Weapons up there. Well, I don't think any ex from my past has wanted to kill me, but I'm sure a few have come close. Yeah, you guys. I don't take Drunken Donuts too. I didn't take his question that severely. I don't know, Staggy. It's not really talked about anymore. Yeah, I mean, Cobra's up there. The Warriors, although the Warriors came out in 79, so I don't think it's necessarily an 80s movie. Porky's. I mean, it's hard to choose one great 80s movie. Speaking of the Brat Pack, I met Judd Nelson the other night at Tattoo Mania on Sunset right by my house. I talked to him for 5 minutes before I realized it was him. Like, he looked familiar to me, and then the owner of the tattoo shop said, "Hey, Judd, this is my friend Earl. The best of John Holmes." No, I don't know about that. Thank you, Ben Dover. We welcome all sexualities in the Earlverse. Thank you very much. Saturday night, I hope you guys have some good plans for tonight. Of course, for you East Coasters, it's That's only 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Very early for you guys to still get into some good trouble. Um, Now, the more interesting question would be, what would my favorite 90s movie be? I might have to go with Cliffhanger. Great cast. John Lithgow, Stallone, Michael Rooker. Uh, I know. The great. What's funny, we mainly talked about Joe Hunt because Judd Nelson played Joe Hunt in the TV movie Billionaire Boys Club. And I had played tackle football a few times with Joe Hunt in Beverly Hills in the might have been the early 90s, I believe. There was a park on Coldwater Canyon where on Saturday afternoons a bunch of Beverly Hills and Bel Air brats would play tackle football, and Joe Hunt would just show up. Hello, Staggy, with a little jokey joke. Cliffhanger is an underrated Stallone movie. You know, Stallone's got some under the radar gems. You know, Nighthawks, Cobra, Cliffhanger, um, Copland. I'm trying to think. Hell, even Lords of Flatbush wasn't awful. The Specialist and Assassins weren't bad. I mean, his output in the 80s was so good that, yeah, he's got some bombs too. Stopper, My Mom Will Shoot, Rhinestone. Lock Up is kind of an under the cover Stallone gem. With the great Sonny Landham playing the villainous Chink Weber. Next time I want, you give. Yeah, Lockup for some reason is not on very much. I mean, Cobra's on a lot. Over the Top's on a fair amount. Cliffhanger used to be on a lot, but man, Lockup's got a great cast. You've got Stallone, Frank McRae from Used Cars and many other things. 1941. You've got Tom Sizemore, John Amos, Darlene Flugel, like a really good cast. But I don't know why that didn't. I mean, it did a Donald Sutherland as Warden Drumgoal. I don't know why that doesn't get a lot of love. I think probably because there's a lot of prison movies, and that one just didn't seem to catch. But it wasn't a bomb. I mean, it did well at the box office. Like Escape from Alcatraz is constantly on. Yes, it is. Victory's a very good movie, and the soccer scenes are very realistic. Because I mean, obviously Pele was in the movie, but you also had a lot of European soccer stars to make the scenes look very good. But I will say, Victory is a very slow-paced movie. So if you're not necessarily a soccer fan, I could see people tuning out. I've heard good things about Gladiator too. Here's the wacky thing: I've never even seen Gladiator, so I don't know if I will see Gladiator too. But I mean, Stallone had a nice run. I mean, you had Cobra, Over the Top, Tango and Cash, Lock Up, Cliffhanger, and then I think he did that film Daylights, which I don't know. I didn't really dig it, but you know, and then he I don't know, his 90s output, it just didn't match the 80s. But like William said, the Assassins and the Specialists, they were hits. I gotta be honest with you, this Hangman Jay White match was pretty good. So, I gotta be honest with you, this card has been very good so far. I mean, the matches are good. Now we got Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher coming up, ex tag team partners. So this should be a good match. This should be a real spot fest. And then I think we should have Lashley and Swerve. So, listen, I got to be honest with you. AEW does do pay-per-views very well. Yes, I think Stallone was offered Beverly Hills Cop, but he was basically like, this shit's funny. I'm not funny. We got to make it violent. And I believe the original rating of Cobra was like a double X. It was so fucking violent. So they had to cut out like an hour of it. I mean, the original cut was like a 2+ hour movie, and they were like, no. Which is why the cut that made it to theaters and cable and in the movie channels, it really doesn't make sense because it doesn't feature the bad guy that much. So there's a couple scenes that they left in, that kind of somewhat explains the bad guy's in a cult, but like you don't really, I mean, the bad guy just wasn't in it a lot. So you didn't really hate the guy. But I thought Brian E. Thompson did as good of a job as he could have. Gladiator 2 is what. Hello, I see Staggy's on fire tonight. Ken Wall, I love me some Ken Wall. He said he would do my podcast, but I don't think that's happening anymore. I liked Fair Game. I mean, it's not the most believable that Cindy Crawford could be like a Harvard-educated lawyer, but well, I mean, there's like that one scene where they show the cult banging the axes, but it never really kind of. Apparently, there was other scenes that kind of made it like the Night Slasher was head of the cult. And there is on YouTube, I think, 12 to 15 minutes of deleted scenes from Cobra. So, it kind of makes a little more sense. But I mean, there is something like a 2.5 hour uncut version of Cobra out there somewhere, but it's sadly just probably in the archives of a movie studio that will probably never be released. Maybe Stallone has it, but I would think by now he would have put it out there. Which is too bad because I thought Brian E. Thompson did a fantastic job as the Night Slasher, but he was pretty hamstrung. Yeah, I bet it is Dr. Nova. And I think I saw an interview where Thompson said that, the final scene where he's talking to Stallone and going, "You won't kill me, will you, pig?" Stallone was literally in his trailer watching a football game, so he had to basically do all his lines to nobody. So I know, isn't that crazy? I mean, sometimes when I feel bad about what happened to me on certain television shows, then I see that Stallone makes literally no money from Rocky. Like, he wrote it. I think, he created it. He starred in it. So, that's this business in a nutshell. Even Stallone gets fucked over. I never ordered my action figure. I instead went with the Kamala and Medusa action figures from ProTowerWrestling.com. So, but isn't that crazy that Stallone can get ripped off? That's why Wes Craven created Shocker, because he got fucked over on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, where he makes no money on it. So he was just like, all right, fuck you guys. I'll make another franchise. But Shocker didn't really, for whatever reason, Shocker did not didn't really catch at the box office. So I don't think Wes Craven's plans turned out like he had anticipated. Apparently the special effects guy quit like 70% into the film. So that's why if you watch like the end of Shocker, like probably the last 20 minutes, the special effects are pretty wonky because they were just fucking making it up as they went along. Hey now. So we're just doing a night tight stream in here, ACDC, but welcome aboard. Kind of watching AEW Full Gear, which has been a very good card so far. No surprises, though. I'm a little shocked at that. I mean, at this point, pretty much everyone who they can bring in is here, outside of maybe Kenny Omega can come back. Great soundtrack. Probably my favorite song, well, is the Dudes of Wrath singing the title track, Shocker. Great band. I mean, it's Vivian Campbell, Rudy Starzo on bass, Tommy Lee on drums, Michael Anthony with Paul Stanley and Desmond Child trading off on vocals. Yeah, it's a good show. I'm a little behind. I'm about 6 minutes behind, so I'm watching Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher right now. There has not been a bad match so far, but nothing where you're like, oh my God, did you see this? But AEW does do pay-per-views well. It is a cold business. I mean, when Stallone and Wes Craven can get ripped off, can you imagine what happens to people like fucking me? Yeah, I mean, they had to pay some money for that November Rain package. So, for as many people that give Tony Khan shit, he is a fan, and he does do some pretty cool stuff. But they, the live attendance is down, the ratings are down. I mean, AEW, I think on their Go Home show, which was Dynamite on Wednesday, barely beat out NXT. So that's not good. So I don't know what has to happen. I mean, they've got a fantastic roster. The arena tonight looks pretty full, which is a good sign. But they got some problems. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, I still think they're the best alternative to WWE. So we'll see what happens. Well, I think Rampage needs to be shelved because they film it after Dynamite. And as someone who has been there live at a Dynamite taping in Bakersfield, you do kind of lose your energy for Rampage. But I also think that TV-wise, I'm sure TNT and TBS, they want programming. So they want Rampage. And, AEW's roster is so fucking bloated that you almost have to have Rampage to give people like the Butcher and Willow Nightingale and other the Kingdom. You got to use these guys. Because very few people are going. Well, that's the thing though, Ryan. The Bakersfield Arena is a small arena. Maybe 5,000. So yeah. I mean, Rampage. I noticed they had Ricochet on the other night, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if that's good for him." But You do have to have some bigger names on Rampage. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they do have, HBO Max now. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, it ain't WWE on Netflix, but it's a good deal. So, um, I mean, they just have to have better storylines, and I think more people will come to the arenas, more people will watch on television. You got to make people care who wins or loses. Like this match with Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay, they've done a good job of the build up to it, where you want to see Ospreay kill Fletcher, which is the best of both worlds, because then you have people who want to see Ospreay win, and you also have people who want to hate watch and see Fletcher get his ass kicked, which I guess is the same thing. But I mean, this arena looks pretty full, man, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I mean, they just need better storylines so people get invested. Like, people are invested in this match with Ospreay and Fletcher. The long-term storytelling for this match has been good. Ex-tag team partners, best friends, they grew apart, you get it. So now how they brought in Lashley, I think, was good. They bring in not Swerve, they bring in Shelton Benjamin, they give him a little shine, and then they bring in Lashley, and um, you want to see Swerve Strickland beat the shit out of Bobby Lashley. So that should be a good match. I mean, Bobby Lashley is a legit NCAA wrestler. I mean, I don't know if I would say he's a totally legit MMA fighter, but he was in Strikeforce. He did, he beat who they put up in front of him. I'm not really feeling the Moxley Orange Cassidy match, but I wasn't really feeling the Mercedes Moné Statlander match, and that was a very good match. I thought they were going to do a Camille heel turn on Monet, but I mean, they're clearly building up to that. Yeah, I mean, he needs to bring in outside writers who aren't ass kissers and go, like, if he brought me in, and they're doing the Devil storyline, which I think is everything that's good and bad about AEW, is, it was the perfect amount of story time, a couple months. They switched up the attackers, so you didn't really know who they were. I mean, I had friends of mine who wrestle in WWE were messaging me going, hey, who do you think it is? So when you've got the other company talking about your storylines, it's a good storyline. But, they made Adam Cole and MJF the two pillars of the storyline, and I would have been like, you can't do that. Adam Cole has a broken ankle, so he can't wrestle or really be on camera. And MJF is taking time off after that match, the Devil reveal, to heal up. So you can't leave it all on Roderick Strong, who wasn't really over yet. So, they needed someone to tell them that. Like, I could be a more reasonable version of Vince Russo. I mean, I thought the MJF match ended a little strangely. Like, it was a good match, and then it was just kind of over. I mean, I didn't think Roderick Strong was going to win, but, it was a good, close match, and then the ending was kind of, yeah, I mean, Tony is literally like me. He's just a fan, but with a lot more money than me. But, I think he also should be given credit, like someone had mentioned a few minutes earlier. Fuck, he paid for the rights for November Rain. I mean, that had to cost some money. And when the Bucks and Kenny Omega wanted to come out to Carry On My Wayward Son, he paid for the rights to that. Now that probably wasn't that much, but I mean, it was a couple bucks that he didn't have to do. I mean, he could have just made them come out to some fucking generic song, but so I'm a Tony Khan fan. I mean, listen, they do a lot wrong in AEW, but they also do a lot right. Um, I mean, he's a fan with money. Well, I think that if you saw that package, William, and I'm assuming you didn't because I don't believe you watch AEW, they had a very nice, probably like a 5-minute package highlighting the matches on the pay-per-view done in November, and it was very good. So the song in and of itself would not have done much, but with the video package, it worked. Um, so, oh, good. Thank you, Boulder Johnny. Thank you for the likes, all of you. We're gonna go for about another 20 minutes, kids. Another 20 minutes. I don't know who's going live tonight, and to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit. I've got to work out and stuff, so I look good for the fans at the Comedy Store. All right, is this it? It's a good match right now. So, I do think, I mean, the one thing I was kind of blown away at for this pay-per-view, I mean, Full Gear is one of your signature pay-per-views, and you don't have Okada on the card, who's probably outside of Ospreay and maybe inside of Ospreay, your biggest international star. You got to have Okada on this card. Well, I think though, if you saw the package, William, you might change your mind. I mean, I get what you're saying, but the highlight package done to that song was very good. I mean, you could have gotten like I said, you could have gotten a generic song, but I think it always helps to have a song that's familiar to people, and I would say Guns N' Roses, although there's certainly by the way, this Ospreay Fletcher match is good. But I would say that AEW fans probably are Guns N' Roses fans. So it's like a little thank you. It's like this stream. My streams are little thank yous. Well, yeah, 100% with Okada. But I do like how they've built him since he's come in. He's funny, man. But I also think, like with Okada, I would have said, "Hey, listen, like if I was in the AEW writers' room, I would be like, hey, Okada's a very famous wrestler in Japan, but most people in America don't watch New Japan wrestling. So you've got to kind of make the people in America aware of how legendary he is. You've got, and they did a little bit better job with Omega, like saying, hey, this guy's a stud worldwide. I think they needed the same thing. And I have been excited. They've kind of teased when Omega comes back that it might be Okada versus Omega. And they've had some bangers in Japan, but most American fans have never seen them. So, I mean, my friend... my friend gave me this. Let's see what matches are on this. We've got Omega against Ospreay, Omega against Adam Page. So, you've got to do vignettes. Because like I said, a lot of people, they don't, New Japan is not promoted well in America. So you don't know the rich history. So that's when when AEW brings in someone like Ishii, or even when they brought in Jay White. I'll be honest with you, I love Jay White now, but when they brought in Jay White and Tony Schiavone, it's like, oh my God, Jay White's here. I'm like, I don't know who this fucking guy is. Yeah, I mean that was a great match. But there's many, you've got to build up some of these guys. Like Okada should be in the title. I mean, I know he's a Continental Champion, but I mean, when you look at some of the people AEW has, I mean, they've got some great wrestlers. Ospreay, Okada, Jay White, Swerve Strickland, now Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. Um, they've got just some amazing talent that is kind of underutilized. Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, where's Wardlow? I mean, Wardlow's just, he's one of the devil attackers, and now he's just. I mean, I know he was injured for a bit, but like, do a vignette on him. Show him getting beat up. Oh man, this is gonna be a dude. They can't do this spot on the steel steps. A pile driver. Jeez. This Ospreay Fletcher match is a banger, man. Yeah, Eddie Kingston. He's just fucking gone. Like, where'd he go? Do a vignette. Show him getting beat up, and then maybe he's injured, or like maybe Okada and couldn't be at Full Gear because he has a commitment in New Japan. But like, do something where his absence is explained. By the way, I do like the jobbers in AEW. They had some guy the other night against Bobby Lashley, some skinny black dude named Cheeseburger. And of course, MXM Collection. Because now people like Harley Cameron because they're building her. Like, they're building her up. Week by week, she's getting better and better. And although she's losing a lot, you kind of are starting to get emotionally involved with Harley Cameron because they've done a good job of building her. So, I mean, it's not that hard. It's really not. And the Outrunners, those guys are funny. But they've built them up, so, you kind of care about them now. That's my main complaint about AEW. Is like they do these super matches that you don't really care about. Well, yeah, I mean William for sure. And it's also like, if the fans care, they're gonna watch the TV more. They're gonna order the pay-per-views. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, their AEW will never have the production of WWE, but they've got in my opinion, a better roster. So with better writing, and you've got a great women's division. Hold on, I've got to get some water. Sorry, boys. Um, well, I mean, that should do pretty well. I mean, it is. Um, it's not even December yet, so I wouldn't worry about. You got 3 months to do the build up. And William, you are correct, sir. Per usual. I mean, AEW has only been around 5 years. Um, but and they've made a lot of mistakes. There's no way they should have let Jade Cargill go. I mean, they botched her, but you basically traded Mercedes Moné for her. They botched Wardlow. I mean, Wardlow could be Wardlow is a combination of Mike Awesome and Bill. Wow, Kyle Fletcher beat Will Ospreay. That wasn't on my bingo card. Yeah, I mean, maybe she was causing problems. Backstage or something. It's like I just said with Okada. Maybe he couldn't be on this card tonight because he had a commitment in New Japan or something. And AEW is pretty liberal with letting their wrestlers go and wrestle in other organizations. Well, I think, well, I mean, I would not have had Kyle Fletcher beat Ospreay, but I know. I mean, they're a long ways better than WCW Thunder with Hugh Morris and that crowd, the No Limit Soldiers and Master P. Now we have Kyle Fletcher gloating with Mark Davis coming out. So we've got United Empire reunited. Ospreay might be hurt. This was a great match, though. Who's a bigger loss, Cody or Punk? Well, I mean, Punk was always hurt. And I know a lot of people in AEW. Nobody likes Punk. So, it's not like 10 people said he's a good guy, 10 people said he's not a good guy. I mean, and some of these guys I know who don't like Punk, they're like the nicest fucking people on the planet. Like, they don't talk shit about anybody. So, I think Cody was a bigger loss. But I knew in that one match with Cody and Andrade where Cody Rhodes like set himself on fire, basically, and it didn't get that big of a pop. You could tell, with the fan base kind of not really giving him the shine in that match, he was like, fuck this. Wait, hold on. Now we got Mariah May. Hold on here. Wait, what the hell is going on here? Now we've got Mariah May and all right, we'll watch this for a minute. I mean, it's two hot girls. What are you gonna do? They're teasing some like lesbian ism. This is very WWE. Yeah, I don't know that. I would not have put Fletcher over Ospreay, but I'll say this: you do put Fletcher is now over because it's like, oh my god, he beat Ospreay. So, and it wasn't really a controversial finish; he beat him clean. So I can't really, I would love to know the long-term plans because as of now, I absolutely would not have put you kind of diminish Osprey. But we'll see what the long-term plans are. Well, I just think like if what happened in with Punk and Jack Perry, if that happened in WWE, they would have had that be the next pay-per-view. CM Punk against Jack Perry. Do business together. You guys hate each other? It's like Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy. There's a love triangle in real life. I think she cheated on Matt Hardy with Edge. So it's like, all right, let's turn this into an angle. And it was a great angle. Does Mariah May have a real black eye? All right. Here come they're teasing the kiss. I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can compare AEW to late WCW yet. I think Tony Khan is a huge mark for the business. And that's great because if not for Tony Khan, WWE would be running roughshod right now. And guys like, Big Bill would be out of a job. But Big Bill's found a second wind in AEW, and a lot of guys have. Osprey would be buried in WWE. Omega would be buried in WWE. I mean, a lot of people who are like, Okada would be like the new Tajiri. So, I think that, whoa. All right, so they're teasing now a match between these two broads. I mean, whoa. I remember I just spit in the Mina Sakura's face. All right, this has me interested. All right, a nice little table spot. Okay, well, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, that's why I like AEW. It's just a fresh. I know we got Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia. I'm down for this. All right, we're almost caught up. So if you guys are watching live, I apologize. I'm a little behind. I had to run out and get some food. So, and I like Jack Perry. Jack Perry would be fucking buried. He wouldn't even be on NXT in WWE. So I'm just saying it could be worse. Well, Tony Khan will never run out of money. TNA might run out of money. I mean, AEW is like Tony Khan's fun money, with his father owning the Jaguars. They're good. And it might be a tax write-off, like when Jerry Buss owned the Forum and the Lakers and the Kings, he made huge money on the Lakers and lost his ass on the Kings. But, it was just an accepted part of business. I am out of Gucci lean cuisines, and I am with fit to go prepared frozen dinners. Thank you very much, Mr. Zoom. So I'm glad Tony Khan's a mark for the business. I mean, he gives a shit. I mean, look at when who hit him and gave him the neck. I think it was Jack Perry gave him the neck injury. So, like, the next week, Tony Khan shows up at the NFL draft, which is completely legitimate, in a neck brace, and he's not moving his neck, to sell the injury. That's fucking great. I drive it's right down the street from my house. Yeah, I mean, I love Tony Khan. I mean, listen, they do a lot wrong. There's no doubt about that. And you guys know me. I'm an AEW mark, babies. But like William Zoom said, they are only a 5-year company. And, they've got a lot of talent. I just think they need to. They might have a store in Venice, but they also have a store in West Hollywood, which I was the first celebrity endorser. Thank you very much. Enter promo code Earl15 to get 15% off, and they're already reasonably priced. So, I mean, overall, so far, the pay-per-view has been very good. We still have Moxley and Orange Cassidy. We've got Swerve and Bobby Lashley. My living chef is the week off. So, yes, and me and Lois were the first dog couple to have their picture on the Dog Hall of Fame at the West Hollywood location. Lois is with her mommy. She's coughing less because we switched out her medication for some new stuff. So, according to Gail, Lois is doing pretty good. So, and it's very cold out here in LA. So, listen, I love having Lois, but when it's this cold, sometimes it's nice to have Gail have to walk her. Gail might have more dust, to be honest with you, but she's doing good. Thank you guys for asking. And, I think Lois has a few more years left, but, you never know. I mean, I know when dogs get sick, it happens fast. I mean, Annie, well, we knew Annie had cancer, so, but, Annie just one night just checked out of the blue. And the dog who Lois replaced, Chloe, I mean, she passed away. I only had her for about 3 to 4 months. So, and lately, a lot of my friends have been having to put their dogs down. So that's made me think a little bit more about Lois. But, we'll see what happens. I think, when I have her, I take her for like 2 to 3 hour walks, man, and she does it. Yes, Magical Mo, and Magical Mo ended up passing away. If you remember, what was the rescue that fucked me over? I forget, but apparently Magical Mo was not. She passed probably about a year and a half after you guys became aware of her. I mean, it's a cold 50s, which, the people in Winnipeg, when I was in Winnipeg doing stand up, it was minus 21. So, people in Winnipeg would love it to have to be 50. I'm trying to think, Staggy, what was their name? I forget. I blocked them. Well, it doesn't matter, but they totally, Chan donated a bunch of money for some other dog's surgeries because she was basically told, hey, if you donate, you'll be first in line for Magical Mo. And then, Chandler called me up crying, hey, Magical Mo's in North Carolina with some other couple. And, the Road Dog Rescue. That was the name. Yes. Thank you, Staggy. And that's one of the great things about social media is I can alert the fans that Earl and his significant other at the time were being fucked with, and the fans spring into action. Luckily, I'm associated with the LaBelle Foundation now, and they do Earl right. Thank you very much. So I do appreciate the LaBelle Foundation. They do great work out here. So I'm thankful to collaborated with them. No, not Chudo Gene LaBelle. You can imagine if he ran a dog rescue. Is he still alive or did he die? I'm pretty sure he died. He's like the Abe Vigoda of mixed martial artists. You don't know if he's alive or not. I believe he passed, if I'm not mistaken. So getting texts now. People wanting to come to the Comedy Store tonight. 3 hours before the show, and you're asking me to put you on the guest list. I mean, the lack of manners in my world is out of control. Okay, well, Shab, it'd be interesting to see where Shab goes next. I mean, he probably makes a good amount of money on his podcast, so who the hell cares? I guess good for him. I'm a fan of anyone who makes money in this business, whether they're funny or not. It's awesome. So we'll go a couple more minutes, guys, and then I got to go work out. I'll probably watch the rest of the pay-per-view later, but I do appreciate the soldiers that you guys are to join me on a Saturday night. We'll probably stream tomorrow night as well. Probably around the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Daniel Garcia, new TNT champ. Ryan, I'm a few minutes behind, so now that you've told me that, I can just fast forward through this match. Hello. But I like Jack Perry as a bad guy, so I mean, this was a good match. Let's see. All right. So now we're fully caught up. This was kind of a thrown together match. Ricochet against Takeshita. See, this is vintage AEW here. Now, I'm sure this will be a good match, but you've got, I don't care who wins this match. There's no build-up, no nothing. So I don't care who wins or loses. I really don't. I like the wrestler match, to be honest with you. I mean, it is what it is. But in terms of the Ricochet, listen, I could watch. I mean, Ricochet doesn't really wrestle; it's just gymnastics. But he is exciting to watch. Takeshi's a very good wrestler, but this is exactly what we were talking about a few minutes ago. I mean, I don't really care who wins or loses. That's the problem. And this pay-per-view is long enough where what I would have done, whoever is in the creative room, I would have said, don't have Ricochet and Takeshita. Build it up for the next pay-per-view. Just make Swerve and Lashley go a little longer. Because you got to figure Moxley and, you always want to leave the audience, like comedy, you want them to want more. Leave them wanting more. And this pay-per-view is almost at the point where it's too long. I mean, I will say there hasn't been a bad match on the card. But, you've still got Lashley and Swerve after this match. Moxley and Orange. So you got 3 more matches. And right now, what time is it? It's 10:43 East Coast time. But, what are you going to do? In my company. I'm just a fan. I paid for this pay-per-view. There you go. Lashley had a match Wednesday against 2 jobbers. One guy was named Cheeseburger, and I don't know what the white guy was. Well, but I do agree with Eric on that. I mean, I do think, uh, you know, I mean, I'm sure this will be a good match, but I really do believe you want them to go, man, I wish there was one more match on the card instead of saying what I'm saying right now. Man, I wish there was one last match on this card. So, but I'm just a fan. I'm not saying I'm right. Um, I just think that, and there hasn't been um, many surprises. There hasn't been like, oh my God, Omega came back, or so it's been a good pay-per-view, but so far without any major kind of swerve, just it's been like a high-end Dynamite. Yeah, Cheeseburger and some white dude wrestled Bobby Lashley in a handicap match, and it went how you think it would go. I mean, you can tell he's a good wrestler, but he doesn't have a great body, and well, I would have had Okada in this match, make it a three-way. Yeah, I mean, it was. I will say AEW does have the best jobbers. They're funny. Like they have some black dude named Cheeseburger. So, I don't know. Like, and the crowd's not dead for this match. I mean, it's a good match. I mean, Takeshi's great. Ricochet's, I remember seeing him in PWG out here in Reseda. Um, and he was a big signing for the AEW. So, uh, yeah, I mean, Ricochet has paid his dues, no doubt about that. But like I said, I don't care who wins. Um, so I mean, I'm assuming the last two matches will be good, but you could tell the crowd's losing a little bit of steam. So I definitely would have cut this match. But getting back to the Rizzler and I don't know who those guys are, but I thought QT Marshall did a very good job of carrying the match and selling for the guy. So what up, SCVID show? We're just about to end. We're going for 4 more minutes, and then I'm going to watch the rest of the pay-per-view later. I'm going to go to the gym. I got a 12:15 set at the Comedy Store, which, because everyone runs the fucking light, it'll probably be closer to 1 a.m. But, welcome to comedy, Earl. Put your big boy pants on and sack up. So, I mean, maybe Ryback will come in toward the end. Oh, man. I mean, this is a good match. I mean, the Garcia-Perry match was good. Thursday night, it was great. I had to follow my friend, the lovely and talented Sarah Weinshank, and she gave me a very nice intro, and it was all good. No, I shower, so I'll go to the gym. Probably get there around 8:30 my time, work out for an hour and a half, get home around 11, take a shower, and hit the Comedy Store. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm trying to concentrate on my own shit. My YouTube page and Instagram and whatnot. I lost about 200 followers on Twitter out of the blue. So maybe Elon's cleaning house with the porn bots, which I would not be against. And I even lost a few followers on Instagram. So I don't know what's going on, but who knows? Well, I was there Thursday. They did do a bot purge. Okay, well that makes me feel a little better. I mean, I know I went on Social Blade a couple of months ago, and my Twitter and Instagram real follower percentage was 94%, which is pretty good. I think most of my followers are pretty good on, or subscribers on YouTube are legit. Um, I mean, Wednesdays are okay. Tuesdays are happening because Roast Battle's still popular, which is beyond mind blowing to me. But given who does it, yeesh. And a lot of big name comics don't leave town till Wednesday. So they're still in town Tuesday night. So it's a good buzz. I mean, Wednesdays are hit or miss. Thursdays are hit or miss. And then, the weekends are good. I mean, Saturday night's probably the best night, which is I'm very lucky or happy or whatever you want to call it to get spots on Saturday night in the main room. Well, I hope they do. I mean, I used to love having as many followers as I can, but obviously on YouTube, I want people to watch my streams and my shorts and my regular videos, and so I hope they do clean and purge. And I think my rate of engagement is probably higher on YouTube than anywhere else. Like my shorts average between 500 to 1,000 views. And you think, okay, well, he's only got, 2,700 subscribers. So that's a pretty good rate of return. I mean, I don't think Twitter is as happening as it used to be, but I think, it seems to be in a bit of a resurgence. I mean, I think right now the hot apps for kids anyway are TikTok and Instagram. They seem to be in a war, with the shorts and the reels and the threads. So it'll be interesting to see where this all goes. I mean, listen, there was a time when MySpace was so fucking big, you would have thought that nobody would have overtaken MySpace, and now it's a fucking dinosaur. So that's gonna be it for now, kids. This has been a very fun Earlverse. I thank William and Kip for being the mods tonight. Drunken Donuts, Ryan, Flynn, SCVID, Vino. Do people bet on wrestling matches? I don't think so. I mean, I would think that would be a huge conflict of interest. Because you could have riders just lay down huge money knowing that they know what's going to happen. 100%. We'll probably stay tomorrow night. We'll do a full gear wrap up, I guess, on the last few matches. I mean, right now we're just, it looks like the tail end of Ricochet and Takeshita. I believe coming up next is Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley. And then the main event, which I think will be a clusterfuck, will be Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy. Now, the potential for a surprise appearance from anyone probably going to happen in the Orange Cassidy Moxley match. Maybe someone comes in to save Orange Cassidy or something. Maybe there'll be a beat down of Orange Cassidy with Moxley's crew, and then who knows? Maybe Shane McMahon will come out. I still think he's going to come out. Yeah, I walked to the gym tonight. I got my Kiss hoodie on, and I will wear a compression shirt of some sort. And I have a bit of a slight chest strain because I lifted too heavy last week. But I'm a soldier. So check out my new shorts. I've been releasing once a day. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. This has been Earl Skakel in the Earlverse, checking out.